what was the other part? Exciting nightlife diner. Okay. Oh, I just realized I still have the headset on. I'm sorry. I was trying to set up things to send my video that I just made to YouTube, and it's not quite acting right, but it's not being totally horrible either. So, yesterday we got a good deal of these put in place. We're still, working our way up, but yeah, it's starting to look like a building. Um, oh, I gotta show you something. Okay, so it's not perfect yet, but I guess we're going that way then. Um, because I just don't feel like going through the wall. Oh, so we got some of these windows set up. We got this wall put in place, but there's really no reason for it right now. Um, I mean, there's gonna be okay. So way over there is gonna be the infirmary, and then Ellen and Kelly's room, and then I don't know, but right here is the kitchen, and then next to that, um, you know, accessible through the kitchen. Like you can go through the kitchen to get there. Um, a freezer and a refrigerator. But other than that, I have no idea. And it's, like one of those big walk-in ones. Um, I set up one table. I set up these rooms right here. They're not completely set up. They're gonna have beds. They're gonna have beds, computers, stuff like that. I've got. I am so sorry. I keep saying Uh, but that's me. I can't. And, I fear that I sound like that person at the graduation that isn't normally a public speaker, and they're up there going, uh, yeah, they're saying whatever they're saying, and then they say, um, and then they'll say whatever they're saying, and I feel like I'm doing that. Anyway, I got a really cool add-on, starting here. So I got a really cool add-on starting here, and I don't know how to use that color thing right there or the color tool. But, we've got basketball court, got beach ball, got beds, um, carpet. cat lamp, inflatable duck, kitchen cabinets. I don't necessarily like these pink ones because there's like, they're too generic. But anyway, sandcastle, rocking horse, all this cool stuff, and there's uh, supercomputer. Apparently that's a lab shelf. I've got all this stuff and a bunk bed. So some of this stuff is going to go into, oh, um, like the stove, and I just saw it. Oh, and the ventilation thing that goes above the stove. Okay, I guess I'll keep that going then. Um, and a garbage can, and we got a gym bench, where you're lifting weights. Got all kinds of things. 3 different computers, by the way, not just that one. That's a steel chandelier. Anyway, it's got all this cool stuff. It's even got columns. I don't like most of them, but um, at least we have columns. And a golden bath. Looks like you're. Looks like it's made out of a duck. Uh, Globe. I never thought about that before, but Sean and Ashley's room ought to have a globe because she writes books. Oh, we even have deer antlers and a bull skull. Wanted posters. Yeah, it's really cool. Anyway, eventually, Sean and Ashley's room, we'll just put them in now. Okay, so in one of my books, Sean and Ashley go to a wine tasting. And while they're gone, Sean seemingly has too much to drink. So he's not acting like himself. He's yelling at Ashley, he's shaking her, and she's pregnant with 6 babies at that point. Well, I will tell you that it's not him. That's all I'm going to tell you. I want you to read the book to find out what really happened. But yeah. So anyway, in that scene, he's trying to go through that window so he can talk to her cuz he's trying to tell her I didn't do it. I woke up in uh the next morning in a hotel room and I don't know why. But she's not worried that he, went with another girl or something because, they're married. So he's got that going for him. But other than that, he's in big trouble. That's the only problem with this is sometimes the chairs go in crooked. like that. Like, you have to figure out how to put the chair in there for the specific direction you're trying to get. That's the cool thing, though. You can sit in the chairs. That's exactly the spot that... Dang it. And it leaves little chair symbols all over the place. You know what? It would help if I switched to a chair. Can't get this chair in. Sometimes you need to do that. There. That's the captain's table. I don't know why I made the captain's table so far away from the kitchen, but then on the other hand, like, if you're in a restaurant, you don't want to be right there by the kitchen. Wait, I'm gonna do this right. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now, what I could have done, though, is I could have put uh, stairs in there, upside down stairs, and it probably would have looked better because it wouldn't be the amazing floating table. But I am so not going there. Right here. I don't think this actually works the way it's supposed to. Well, for now, I will figure this out. Which kind of the way I said that reminds me of that song. Um, she's singing for right now. It was a YouTube video of, I want to say The Voice. Okay, so like these are supposed to be carpeted stairs. Probably carpeted like that. I believe that's purple. Yeah, purple wool. They're supposed to be carpeted stairs. But you can't do carpeted stairs in Minecraft because, well, you can. Maybe. No, because the carpet will just float above above every other stair. So like here it would float, here it would not float, and here it would float, and here it would not float, you know? Oh, that's why we're not doing that. Duh. So you're probably wondering why I'm not going like that. It's because it does not line up. Oh, wait, no, that wouldn't be. Because this is a hallway. Hallways are, wait, 1, 2, and the hallway is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of things I want to do on this file today. Um, One of the things is to get rid of that hill right there. Actually, Minecraft might call it a mountain. Not sure. But, but I want to get rid of it because it's in the way. My original idea was to go up a little higher and, um, so my original idea was to go up a little higher, and that didn't work out, so. Yeah, I keep having problems with the stairs because they're not in the right spot for connecting the downstairs to the upstairs, if that makes sense. And it probably doesn't, but yeah. Okay, and this would be going up 1. Wait. So I remember, uh, it'd be going up 1 because of the stairs going up. And you want to make sure that you've got light in the stairwell. Um, and I was sitting here, and I happened to remember that one of the versions, not the one we have, but one of the versions, um, I have it on DVD, of A Christmas Carol has Patrick Stewart like jumping on the bed. And it was so funny to see this. He's the one that played Captain Picard on the Next Generation Star Trek. Anyway, he's usually the the um you know the I don't know how to say it without, he's like the super British person, like he'd never jump up and down on the bed and have total fun like that. you know he's like the classic British person, from movies and stuff. They'd never lower themselves to do that. Anyway, I don't know why I was remembering that, but I remember a bunch of weird stuff when I'm uh playing games, and actually that's probably going to end up, I don't know if it's going to, but it might. See, the problem is that this is the hallway and this is the stairs. It's not going to work. It never does. I don't know why, but it never does. But in theory, I have to say it that way. In theory, it's supposed to, be a staircase that goes up. And in one, okay, so I had a dream about this one, about how it's supposed to be. And one time somebody went up the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5, 6. Okay, so somebody went up the stairs and then they turned and went up more stairs. Like they went up to a landing, and there's actually supposed to be a lovely glass window that looks out. Bobby, you were not chasing anything until I called your name. Okay, so I've raised, I don't know how many cats. um, since me and my husband have been together, we had Sweetie. We had the 4 evil ones. I want to say one's name was Sarah and one's name was Heather, but I'm probably crazy. Um, but yeah, we had the 4 evil ones. We had the 4 babies. They were tiny, and they had to be bottle fed. Um, and mostly Nancy, but I think Coral helped feed them too. I mean, not feed them, but raise them. But we ended up giving the 4 evil ones. We turned them unevil. They were actually acting like actual real cats, the kind that cuddle with you on the bed and play with toys and all that. And then we had to give them back to the lady who's got a hundred that has 100 cats in a dog pen and 300 pigeons in another dog pen. When those long when those long I'll think of it. Like a dog run. That's what they call it, a dog run. Um, but it's never big enough. I mean, like I saw one once, and it was only about 6 foot wide, but it was, pretty long, so the dog could run. Yeah, they need more running than that. They need to go to a dog park and be able to play with other dogs, and unless you're got an aggressive dog, and then I don't know. If you got one of those dogs that's aggressive to other dogs, a dog park will not work. But or if you have one of those dogs that's like, they're perfectly nice to you, but other people are scary to them, so they lash out with the claws and teeth. That would not be good either. Um, because it's usually at dog parks, it's usually the dog and their owner. And somebody usually has a tennis ball, and all the dogs go and chase it. And it's fun. Unless you're the person having to throw the ball. But I personally think that our dog park, uh, our dog, our dog parks around here don't have enough shade. Of course, I didn't think it had enough grass either. Dog parks that have grass. Of course, one of our dog parks has a tunnel that they can go through. But one of the dogs that my mother-in-law's had, got halfway through the tunnel and just laid down and was like, I'm done. Let's see here. So this is the mansion, in case you don't know, in my books that I write. I'm currently right now editing Esperanza's party and no, just Esperanza's party. Because I figured out that the paperback version and the hardback version were not the same. And I'm not sure why I had to have two different copies, but anyway, they're not quite the same. So I'm going through and making sure that everything's perfect before I go and put it on there again. Um, I mean, it's on there now, but it won't be necessarily correct. So I'm going in and correcting everything, putting it together, and hopefully because like yesterday, I had William asking Jesse, "Do you have your running shoes on?" Or, sneakers, whatever the word was. I think it was running shoes, so. And he's like, "Yeah." And William goes and hands him Ashley's gun because Ashley was trying to shoot Johnny, but kind of shot through Johnny and Sean, who's fighting him. Uh, anyway, he goes and hands Jesse the gun over Ashley's head and, basically tells him, keep it away from her. So Jesse goes and runs around the mansion. Well, you can see this is a big, huge building. Nothing like the track at the high school. That hasn't been built yet on this file. I'm actually going to try to build it where I had it before, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Because before, I had it, of course over there, but I had it right here and faced, this way. Well, in the file that I keep coming up with buildings that I haven't added yet, but anyway, the one that I just built last year, the high school was this way and faced toward the ocean there, and I don't necessarily like that. In the other file, I still haven't put stuff like, oh, I just had it in my head. Oh, I still haven't put stuff like the basketball courts and the baseball diamonds and, stuff like that. Oh, okay. I didn't have any water or anything to choke on. And then it was like I had so I had like fur on the end of my tongue, which is weird but not unexpected because, we've got 3 cats, so fur just flies. It's not fun, but, it does. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go and move something. Well, I'm not putting in door things right now. And I literally only have this glass up here because, it's the roof. They don't want to get rained on. Normally there would not be glass up here at all. It's here, but it's not here. Um, yeah, so what I was saying about that though is that instead of YOUR, which means it's your coat or your gun or your shoes in this case, I had YOU apostrophe RE. I have no idea why. And that's not something that you could hear, unless your AI is a little crappy. Oh, I shouldn't have said it that way. I'm so sorry. Unless it's a little junky, you wouldn't be able to hear that because, like, I had an AI natural reader. It's a really good program, actually, but there were so many words that the voices couldn't say. So you had to go and, learn how to rework the word so AI can say it. I was so grateful when I found Speechlo because I either saw it as a commercial on TV or I saw it as a commercial on uh, some part of the internet. But I was so grateful when I found that because it could say just about everything except for Chantel. So instead of having to go and, well, it can't say Britannia either, but I made that name up as far as I know. So I was trying to come up with, I could call her Brittany as a nickname, like Kat is Katarina Anna Duval. We spell it with a K, Kat. So, I decided her name would be Kat, but really it's Katarina Anna Duval. So, well, I mean, she becomes Katarina Anna Pendragon, but that's her name before she gets married. And oh, I'm seeing water over there. Anyway, so yeah, I have no idea why I got on that part. Oh, and, so it can't say Britannia, and the original idea was that she was going to be Brittany. I mean, Britannia, but her nickname would be Brittany, like like Katarina likes to go by Kat, and Jacob likes to go by Jake. And in something I wrote, a little story note, or maybe I wrote it into the book itself. Um, it's he doesn't like people named Jacob, so he likes to go by Jake. And there's my pets. Okay, so I've got a small problem because I can't remember somebody's name over here. I decided we'd have Marnie because I named that one Cal. Now, Cal and Marnie don't get together in the Halloween Town movies because Cal's a bad guy. But I can't remember the other guy's name, and I liked the name Cal, so I came up with, Marnie. Then this guy's name is Bo. This is Vanessa. But I can't remember. That's Samson. Samson's actually a black dog. A big black dog. There's Coral. Coral didn't exactly look like that, but close enough. Marnie, Vanessa. Oh, I thought I had Tracy in here. Okay. Well, we'll have to come up with Tracy, won't we? Roxy's a cat that we had. Henny's a cat that we had, and she was Siamese. And one of these two, I can't remember which, but one of these two, I swear, had to have been, that's Natalie. Sweetie, Bobby, Cor- Hey, where'd Pizza go? Roxy, Natalie, Sweetie, Bobby. We lost Pizza. And Coral. Where's Pizza? There's a horse. There's a horse. There's a couple of cows. There would be horses around here. There would not be cows. There would not be chickens. There would not be sheep. Where'd Pizza go? What did you do? Despawn? He had a name tag. Okay, so there's one of the captain's sons is named Adam, and he likes to name his animals after foods. So he's got a horse named Apple, and he's got a cat named Pizza, and his dog is named Banana. Oh my goodness. Anyway. It's supposed to be that they do not despawn if... Well, maybe he's up there somewhere. It's supposed to be that they do not despawn if you have a name tag on them, and that's not fair. I know, that probably sounds like a kid in school. It's not fair, but... I mean, who knows what color Pizza was anyway, and, I can't say in real life because, it's a fictional story. Not even based on, I was going to say not even based on reality, but, I'm one of those people that can't come up with, like, Star Wars kind of things, or Pandora kind of things. Or even, the whole earth is covered in water, like Waterworld. Or like Harry Potter, I, I can't do that because I'm like, that's not what would happen in real life. Everything that happens in my books could happen in real life. So, I feel okay writing my books. I don't usually come up with things like, okay, so one of my books has, I don't remember which one it was either, but one of my books has a little part of like a fairy tale, and it was okay. So it was Ashley got stolen by the bad guy, and I want to say the bad guy was female, which probably means that I've watched Tangled one too many times, but I don't know if I'd seen it at that point, but maybe I had. Anyway, so she goes and takes me to the top of the tower, and not me, but Ashley. She goes and takes Ashley to the top of the tower, and all of a sudden, Ashley was wearing normal clothes, like, say, shorts and a t-shirt with heels or something like that. And then all of a sudden, she's wearing, like, the princess gown from a Disney movie, And Sean, breaks into the tower. He gets up there, and he was wearing normal clothes too. And then all of a sudden, he's wearing, like, the Prince Philip outfit. complete with the cape and everything. Um, Maybe not that exact outfit, but something like that. So I don't remember exactly what happened, but there was definitely like I think Ashley was ended up crying for some reason, and there was a tissue box like right next to her. It Okay, so my grandma had this little alcove thing, a small little alcove thing, where the telephone sat, and it was there for years until she got a cordless phone. She had a rotary phone, so the one where the dial thing goes around and around and around while you're dialing. So anyway, there was like that in the wall in this tower, and that's where the Kleenex was. So somebody handed her a Kleenex, uh, a tissue. Excuse me. I don't even use Kleenex usually. I use Puffs or one of the other. It might be Kleenex. I don't know. Anyway, next time I have a cold, maybe I'll remember to tell y'all what I was using. But anyway, somebody handed her that and she used it, and then anyway, the bad guy ends up, the bad guy eventually ends up throwing Ashley out the window. So Sean is freaking out because, of course, when you fall out the window in a high tower, you're not going to survive. Well, she, uh, like, Ashley comes back through the window, um, at some point. Yeah, she comes back through the window. She has, fallen to a trampoline, which probably means I've watched Roblox too many times. I mean, played Roblox too many times because that's what I do on Theme Park Tycoon too. Um, it says go on the trampoline and bounce, this high. And I used to have it perfectly to where I would get that on the first try, but the last time I did it, uh, you know, last Tuesday, this being Saturday, uh, I had to do it in 2 tries and or 3 tries, something like that. Anyway, so Ashley has, bounced on this trampoline, gotten back in through the window, and I don't remember how she uh, took care of the bad guy, but she took him out or took her out, and then I think Sean takes her into his arms and they kiss, and you know they go back downstairs to Sean's horse and get out of there. But can't remember exactly. I haven't listened to that one in a really long time, and I don't even know where I put that. It's in my file somewhere, and I put it into a book, but I can't remember which one. Huh. I'll have to figure it out. Anyway, so I'm supposed to be turning Lessons in Love into an audio right now, but then, like I said, I figured out that Esperanza's party between the two copies was not working because I don't know why, but the hardback version needed its own copy. And so I'm going in and reading everything in both of them, making sure it's uh, making sure that both of the files say what they're supposed to say. And it's going pretty good. I'm only up to like page 27 because I was gonna wait until I was on page 50. But that didn't work because I started to fall asleep. So I got to page 27 and I'm like, okay. So anyway, after I'm done doing this in about 40 minutes, um, as soon as I'm done doing this, then I will definitely go in there and start reading that while I'm eating breakfast and uh while I'm eating breakfast and doing whatever else I'm going to do today. I'm probably going to just edit that book today, after I eat breakfast. I mean, while I'm eating breakfast and I'll eat lunch in there too somewhere. Oh my goodness. Oh, so okay, we have a grocery store. I want to say it's a Kroger, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, it's called Save Mart. And we were trying. Okay, so we were up by our Costco, and literally right across the street, practically, is a Walmart. And we were gonna go to Walmart, and we totally forgot. Totally. So um I needed a 6-month card for my Xbox Game Pass Ultimate because if you get the core one, it won't let you play some of the games. So it's really not okay because a lot of my oh, he's a baby, I think. Anyway, so a lot of my games they have to have they have to have you having the internet. You can't just play them when you have the Xbox on. And then they need Game Pass to be able to play them. But if you don't have the Game Pass Ultimate, it won't let you play some of those games. I think Dreamlight Valley's on that list, but I'm not entirely sure. Like I could probably play Disneyland Adventures, no problem, because that doesn't have to be on the internet, and I might. Well, no, I don't think I'd be able to play uh, backgammon. I know it's so weird that you wouldn't be able to play it, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, there's a few games that I have that I probably wouldn't be able to play just because I have core instead. So we went. So since we forgot and we were already pretty close to home, we went to Save Mart to see if they had the card. Well, they did, but it wasn't activated. I know you're supposed to get the card and it activates at the register, but that's not the way it works at Save Mart apparently. And so the lady that we had, I'm pretty sure she used to work at that W store. Um, Pretty sure she used to work at that W store with me, but I didn't say anything. She didn't say anything to me about it. um, Maybe we were both looking at each other going, "Didn't we used to I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's all we had, and so the first one wouldn't work. It was making a weird noise at the register, and then the second one, they sent my husband all the way back to the back of the store where the cards were to uh, get a second one to try see if it worked. Well, it turned out it just does not work, and the manager or more experienced person uh, at the other register did not understand the cards at all, but either way, it just would not work. So we ended up uh oh no, we had done that first. Okay, so we went over to Papa Murphy's and asked them if they have a gluten-free pizza, and their gluten-free pizza looks pretty big. Because my husband described it and described the one at Round Table as a personal pan pizza. Well, that's usually pretty dang small, like, saucer size. And that is not gonna, that's not gonna be, we're supposed to go there tomorrow. Anyway, that's not going to be the right size for me because that's not going to fill me up, and I'm going to be complaining that I'm still hungry later. Um, but I've had pizza before from certain restaurants, Domino's, and it's been just fine. Or like I think I can eat the pizza at Costco. And this is not a paid advertisement for any of these places that I'm mentioning. It's just places that we go to on a regular basis. So, um, oh, and I do want to give a shout out to my husband because, I think it was the day before yesterday. He brought me the cookies I was asking for the other day. And they're not that expensive. They're expensive for what they are because they're just a grandmother's cookies. Not a paid advertisement for them either, but they're just grandmother's cookies. And they used to be 50 cents, and then inflation happened, and inflation happened, and inflation happened, and they're like $1.47 or $2 or two something. I don't know. Anyway, they're expensive. Uh, I love those cookies because they don't have too much sugar for me, and apparently they do not have any wheat in them at all whatsoever, so I don't have to worry about that either. I have never thought to look at the salt content though. But anyway, yeah. So we ended up having to we didn't want to because it's on the other side of town. We went to the south end of town, where the Costco and that W store is. And and we ended up having to go to the GameStop that's by the other W store in the north part of town. And that card worked, and it's no longer telling me your Game Pass is expiring. Yeah. I don't like it when it says your Game Pass is expiring and I have no idea how we're going to pay for it. Because I need my Game Pass. I make videos every day. Oh, and I found out that I've got 465 people on YouTube, and I definitely want to say thank you. I didn't think I was going to be that entertaining, and then, I've got 465 people watch me for one reason or another, so that's way awesome. So yesterday I was uh smart and I actually did the raid. It was just me raiding, but at least I raided. Because on Twitch you can uh go and you could be doing your stream and then you go and raid somebody else, which means that you're visiting their stream, and it's pretty cool. Yeah. And if you have people raid you, then you can get some of the goals done. Like one of the goals that I was trying to get was that, I mean, that I'm still trying to get on Twitch, is that you have 5 people chatting at the same time. Well, the problem is that the time that we set that up, between me and my friends, uh, well, family and friends, uh, my son got out of the chat too early, so it didn't count. But yeah, that's one of the things I need to do. I need to get like 200 followers or 200 people in the chat or something, and I don't know, 200 something. And I have 97 followers. And so I had literally 99 or 98, something like that. I, I was like so close to 100, I could smell it. And then I was like, I got to 102 or 103, something like that. And then it went back down to 95. And I don't know why. So, I felt really bad because, actually, I think I do know why. Because, my Twitch picture is an AI pirate ship. And the reason why I did it that way is because, uh, the only reason why I did it that way is because I'm not good at art and I wouldn't really know how to draw it in the first place. But I was able to get the AI to do a a pirate ship with a black flag and a purple eerie skull. An eerie purple skull. That's what it was. Eerie purple skull. Try saying that 5 times fast. Oh my gosh. I can't even say it once. But anyway, I was able to get that, and so that's my banner picture and the other picture. Because there's like two pictures, and I use the same one for that. And I think that had something to do with it. But I'm hoping that that the AI pictures that I've been coming up with, A, are not somebody else's work, but B, will get me some book sales as soon as I'm done. Because I was done editing Esperanza's party, and then, like I said, I figured out that uh, your shoes was spelled Y-O-U-R apostrophe, I mean, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, and I'm like, how did I do that? There was a period in time where I was doing that a lot, so all I have to do is, go through the rest of the book and make sure everything's perfect and it'll be fine. But yeah, as soon as I do, I mean, as soon as I finish, hopefully, okay, so I put in 2 applications yesterday because we definitely need some help paying the bills around here. Um, which is kind of why I'm telling everybody about my books, because it's like it's like Preston and his merch, or I think Unspeakable had merch too. Since we're playing Minecraft, we'll stick to people who have played Minecraft in the past. Because Unspeakable seems to be stuck on playing. I want to say it's Roblox. I have no idea. Lately, and I'm like, play what you want to play. You know, I mean, as long as it's not as long as it's not like in real life a very bad game like Chicken, where you're driving your car toward the other guy and uh if you crash, you're probably gonna be in the hospital afterwards. Um, but like on Xbox and PlayStation, play what you want to play. It's just like I have like I end up watching them because it's him, not because the game looks so fun. uh, I mean, I play a ton of different games, and it just depends on what video it is as to if people are going to watch it, and I'm probably still going to be making them if nobody watches them. So um I know for a fact that if I end up going back to Disneyland, I'd get a ton of people watching my videos. But we couldn't do that without money either, so um the bills are more important right now. And so I put in a couple applications. Um, as much as I don't like them, I know I can do the job, so I put in one for that W store. And I put in another one at the Dollar Tree. Although I think it's a dollar plus tree now, but anyway. So so the only problem um is that the Dollar Tree pays a lot less than what I got at my last job, which was the W store. I mean, I really feel like writing books is a job, and it really is. Not in the bad sense, like I hate writing books because I love writing books, but there's a lot of work that goes into it, and people that don't do that kind of thing don't understand. First of all, you've got to write the book. Second of all, when you're writing the books, you've got to work around that spot where you had a great idea over here, but well, okay, so you have a great idea over here, and then you had a great idea over there, and you got to somehow connect them without being boring. That's the important part. Is you got to do it without being boring, or not making a whole lot of sense. Like I'll have a really great idea. Okay, so for Esperanza's party specifically, since that's the one that we were talking about, I had this great idea that they would go onto the island. They'd, meet on the dance floor, Sean and Ashley. They'd meet on the dance floor, and they'd go out into the woods to kiss later. But I had no idea what was going to happen before that. And then I came up with that great idea about Ashley going on a date with Johnny. And then I came up with the idea that Sean would fight Johnny and, tell him why not to mess with Ashley. Not exactly literally, but yeah. Um, they were fighting. So I had that, but then it was like, well, what do we do in between the Johnny part the uh and the rest of the story? So I got this, I got a half idea that we'd have Sean kidnapped for his computer skills and do the same thing that Hayden had already done. But I did give it its own little twist that it's the guy's son that is doing it, and just because he wanted to, his dad was killed recently, and he just wanted to finish what his dad started. It wasn't like he needed money or anything like that. He's actually rich. He's got his own company, uh, all that stuff. And he just wanted to finish what his dad started. So Sean did do the hack, but like he hacked into the four richest bank accounts in America, or I mean, no, in the world. So, in the world, yeah, in the world. So he goes in and hacks into there, but he was very, very smart. He opened a bank account in his horse's name and made it to where the money all went into that account. And on top of that, all of the money is going back in a week with double the interest because he screwed up a little bit. He messed up. And, and, so it's going back with double the interest, but, at least it's going back. And at first the bad guy's super mad. I want to say his name was Max Jr. Yeah. Pretty sure it's Max Jr. Anyway, because his dad's name was Max, and then he's Max Jr. So Max is like super angry at first. He's like gonna have Sean killed, and then he's like, "Wait a minute! I wasn't doing this to get money. I was just doing this to to finish what Dad started. So yeah, he can live." So I don't feel like, at the moment, I don't feel like I wrote that quite good enough because, uh, no. Um, because that specifically wasn't really, uh, didn't really get worded quite right, but the way I wrote it is totally saying what I meant. So It's not like that. Okay, so I love the Harry Potter books. I really do. But there's one part in the Sorcerer's Stone where Harry has a whole bunch of candy, chocolate snacks, whatever. He's got a whole bunch of stuff, and there's a chocolate frog in the pile, and and Ron goes and asks if he can have one of the chocolate frogs, hoping that he'll get Agrippa, and Harry does not answer, not even with a nod of the head, and he goes thanks and takes the chocolate frog. That's not okay. You ask a question, you get an answer from the person that you were asking the question of, and then you say thank you when after Harry says yes, you can have it. But I just didn't like the way it was written. And my husband's even found some typos in some of the books that he's read. So, I feel like I'm setting myself some really high standards, to be perfect. I really do. I'm I feel like I've set myself some really high standards, and nobody's perfect. One of my favorite books. I'm always talking about the Nancy Drew series, called the Nancy Drew Files, and a few of the books, or at least more than one. Um, the writer for the book, because Carolyn Keene has been gone for a very long time. Her daughters might even be gone too. I think it was daughters. Pretty sure it was daughters. But they might even be gone too by now. Um, but I always imagine that it was a like a big warehouse kind of room, and a whole bunch of computers set up, maybe typewriters, but a whole bunch of computers set up. And, this person came up with this story, and this person came up with that story. And I have got to say that I think one of the writers that they were using at the time either was going through a bad relationship or was on that time of the month when they wrote that book, because like the first few books, she's like, Ned, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then on I think it was like the first three books, she's like, Ned, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then she didn't say it that way, but that was the idea. And then like on the fourth book, they are broken up, and he's dating a ballerina, I think it was. And he's asking Nancy to solve the mystery because like the ballerina's being accused of murder or something like that. I can't remember what the crime was. But we'll go with that. She was being accused of murder. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think so though, because I know that Nancy was talking to Belinda. Her name was Belinda. And I actually kind of like that name, but like it would be a good name for Sean's writing partner in kindergarten, or or was that preschool? Anyway, either way. And or it would be a good like Sean and Jesse's first date, Belinda and well, Beatrix was the only other uh name that popped into my head, but I wouldn't go there. I don't know. Beatrix is good for Beatrix Potter, but it's just not one of my favorite names. Um, I don't know. Belinda and Linda, maybe, or Belinda and no, Bernice was the next. um, I've seen a girl named Brad on. I think it was Hey Dude on Nickelodeon. Back in the 80s or 90s. It was one of our favorite shows. It really was. We'd watch it like every single time it was on. Or it might have been on Salute Your Shorts. I kid you not, that was the name of the show. And I think on the opening credits, it showed like a pair of shorts hanging from the flagpole. I don't remember. But anyway, what is a good name to go with Belinda that starts with a B? Because Belinda and Brittany, that doesn't sound okay. And Brittany and somebody else was. Brittany and somebody. Anyway, was the. Okay, so Sean and Jesse are I want to say walking through the woods in the island, and I think that's the situation I'm thinking of. They were walking through the woods on the island, and Jesse's saying that I really want to date twins, but he really wants a younger girl. He wants Chantel, but he really wants a younger girl. And so Sean's like, "Do you remember Brittany and whatever her name was, and Agatha and whatever her name was?" And he actually says the names, but I just can't remember them right now. Oh, it was Aubrey and Agatha. So I have a cousin named Aubrey. I haven't seen her in forever. I'm getting okay, so we live in Nevada, and I'm getting a little homesick for family again. But then when I go and, hang out with family, it's like, not this last time when my son graduated. So last week, Friday, our son graduated, and we went down there. Okay, so we went down there that day, and I don't know how we did it, but we got there super quick. And we get to the hotel that I wanted to stay at, and they said, "We don't have a reservation for you." And so he looks more, and it turns out that my husband trusted Expedia, and they had switched his reservation to the Monday before that Friday. So I think it was Monday the 2nd, and the graduation was on the 6th, 7th. Anyway, it was on Friday. And it's like, okay, now what? Because the guy said that they were full up. We couldn't just, like, get a room at all. So we ended up having to go all the way to, um, because the place that the graduation was is kind of close to Sacramento, but not really. It's close but not close. Anyway, and so we ended up having to get this little motel in Dunnigan, California. And it's like, wow. We went from fancy and probably creepy hallway. Um, okay, so last time I stayed there, it was the only time I've stayed there, but the last time I stayed there, literally I had to go down or go past the check-in desk, turn right, uh, go down that hallway. It went downhill and then it went uphill. It was weird. And then, like, turn left or something like that, and we found the elevator, and then go up one floor, I believe it was, and then I don't remember how we, you know, from there, but I know that we went down a really, really, really long hallway. Like if the mansion came to life, it would be that long of a hallway. Um, well, not that long, but it was pretty long. And I was toward the end of it. So, on the left side. And when you looked out the window, you saw this palm tree, but the way the palm tree was, it wasn't, like the full beautiful palm tree, because it was November. So, it wasn't the full beautiful palm tree. It was like the I'm gonna hibernate until it's warmer outside kind of palm tree. And it looked like a bat. And I had a almost beautiful view of the freeway. I was okay with that though. I was fine with the bat tree and the view of the freeway. But yeah, I felt really bad because there was a whole bunch of people that were like stuck in traffic on the freeway. Okay, so but like I go and visit you know when I can, I go and visit my family, and it doesn't happen every time, but it does seem to happen where someone says something that hurts my feelings, and I don't even think they noticed that it did. But it's like if you don't go and see your family, specifically with me, um, if I don't go see my family, it's almost like I start thinking, who's going to be next. I feel really bad thinking that, but it's like you never know when it's going to be their time or even your time to, not be alive anymore. So So, I like to go and visit my family. And I found out that my daughter works at Cache Creek in this small gift shop, which I thought was cool. Uh, but the only problem is that it's like far enough away from the house that it, and it's got to be on like a country road because she keeps hitting deer. She doesn't do it on purpose. It's just like they jump out in front of the car and bam. So she's got a at least sore rotator cuff. So, like my husband loves giving bear hugs. And she did the ow groan. And she was being very sweet about it though, because she's like, you didn't know. It's okay. I don't know if I'd be that sweet if it was, my rotator cuff. I don't know exactly know what a rotator cuff is. I think it's in the area of the shoulder, but I'm not entirely sure. So, but yeah, she keeps hitting deer, and or at least she hit one. I think they said that wasn't the first one. And like I said, she doesn't do it on purpose. It just ends up happening. Um, excuse me, mister. You need to move. Move to that side. All the way. Thank you. So I try not to kill the... Oh, no. Okay, that's a mama. That's a baby. No, Junior. I didn't need you over here. I need mama over there. Well, if you two would do what I need you to do. Come on. Okay, and Junior's back over there. There. So it's funny because the one cow I decided was a daddy, and the other cow I decided was mommy. They both got horns. Well, there is a version of cattle, um, cows, bulls. There is a version that does have horns, no matter if it's a girl or a boy. But I don't know which one that is right now. And maybe that's the cows that they have here. I have no idea. But actually, except for that they can have babies, all of the Minecraft mobs seem to be guys. And I don't know why they would do that. It's okay though, because... Well, okay, I thought of one reason, but it's not to be talked about on this stream. Oh, it's 11:02! Yay! Well, we'll finish this row here. And then we'll go off the stream, I guess. Oh, okay, so I have not been saying this, but please go on Amazon and check out my books. I'm gonna try, okay, so I'm gonna try to, by the end of next week, have this book all figured out, ready to go. That's my goal. But if I get called in for an interview, then I'm gonna have to go to that, and it might be a little delayed. But I'm gonna try to get it done by the end of what day would that be? Oh, I don't know, because my phone is over there. Yeah, my phone died last night. Put it on the charger. I haven't gotten it off there yet. Okay, so, I usually have YouTube playing in the background silently, so when I'm streaming, I can keep the screen open. The only person who's tried to uh, talk to me today was Salt Girl and it's DANGTHANHI? Dang Than I? Hi? Something like that. Anyway, but the second person, the one that I can't say their name, um, wanna sell me best viewers over here. Yeah. See, it says best viewers on asterisk at a bunch of letters. So, bunch of letters that start with a J. Anyway, I'm not going there. I will not buy viewers. I will not sell viewers. So, it looks like I have the shape of the mansion all figured out, ready to go. And I just gotta figure out how long this yard was. And I'll be done with as soon as this mountain's out of the yard and all that, it'll be set up and ready to go. So anyway, please go on to Amazon and check out my books. You just have to go on the the search line in Amazon, and yeah, the phone's got that on there too. Awesome! I just thought of that. Okay, so in America, it's Amazon.com. But anyway, all you have to do is go onto the search line and type in Tina Rash books. And as soon as I get some time, or I'm not editing, or when I'm not editing or playing Dreamlight Valley or Minecraft, I will go in there one of these days. And I've got a Word file where it's got my whole spiel. Please buy my books, and the names of the books, and it's actually got the words, okay, translated by Google. So if I screwed up at any point in time, please tell me as nicely as possible, and how to say it correctly. Hold on. Hey Google, shut up! Nobody asked you. Okay. So, not my HG, but my husband's HG, also in the living room, just started talking out of nowhere. Anyway, so as soon as I get back to that, I will make sure that every single one of the translations, say Tina Rash books, and I, like I said, I translated them through Google, so if they're screwed up, I'm sorry. And, please tell me how to say it right. I mean, correctly. But anyway, and it shows what my Discord name is, and my YouTube name, and I don't know, stuff like that. Anyway, how to find me. I don't go on Discord very often. I will talk to people on Discord. My computer goes and gives me a notification that somebody is talking to or trying to talk to me on Discord, and I usually answer it, and and it's not a big deal or anything. I actually like talking to my fans. I don't really. Okay, I don't know if fans is quite the right word, but if it is, cool. um, I kind of like to think of you guys as friends I just haven't met yet. So that sounds so much like another YouTuber I know, but I like doing this. It's fun for me. So anyway, but I'll go and make sure that all of that's on there, and maybe even a description um, of what happened I'm really bad at that though, like coming up with a description of what actually happened in the video. I am really bad at that. Actually, I'm really bad at, when I write a book, I can tell you all about that book, but trying to come up with a description, no, I am bad at it because I don't want to give too much information. Because I want you to actually want to read the book. I don't want to say, uh, like, okay, like, um, summer journey, summer journey. I don't want to go and tell you, Natalie finds, not Natalie finds a boyfriend, and Natalie invited her boyfriend, and they get kidnapped by the bad guys, and they get married at the end. And tell you like every single little detail. I want to tell you, and I just want to tell you enough to get you hooked. And ooh, I just thought of a great description for that one. Not a description, but like a part in the book that I could put in there that might get people hooked. Ooh, that would be great. Okay, please check out my books on Amazon. Oh, I was about to say, I don't know if it's all of them. I think it is all of them, my little list here, but I think it is. I'm not sure. So if your country isn't on there, it's either because I screwed up or because that is like my word today, apparently. I mean, my phrase. It's either because I messed up or because Amazon doesn't go there. Okay, so it's Amazon.com, Amazon DE, Amazon IT, Amazon BR, Amazon dot AU. Oh, yeah, it's dot everything that I just said. Um, Amazon dot IN, Amazon dot FR, Amazon dot NL, Amazon.ca, Amazon.se. Okay. Oh, it's giving me notifications. Okay, yeah. It always does that when I first turn on the phone. Okay. Um, Amazon.se, if I didn't say that. Amazon.co.uk. Amazon.es. Amazon.co.jp. I believe that's Japan. uh, Amazon.com.mx, which I'm guessing is Mexico, and Amazon.pl. So, anyway, it will have, that big old list of every single Amazon dot whatever there is, and um, it'll have a list of translations for Tina Rash books for whatever country it is. Um, I just randomly go on the translation thing, and for English, I have Tina Rash books, and then I go and like say choose Finnish or Spanish or uh, um, Swahili. I just go and translate it, and I'm pretty sure it's Google Translate. It just says translation, if I remember correctly. Oh, it just says translate. Yeah, is okay. So it's HTTPS colon one version of the slash. It's the one where the top of it's going toward the right. Twice, and then it says translate.google.com. So yeah, Google Translate. Although I have figured out through watching YouTube videos that the Japanese on Google Translate is not always correct, and you gotta be careful. Because I watch a lot of, it used to be Provost Park Pass, and now it's just Park Pass because Provost is so hard to say. But yeah, so I watch a lot of Park Pass, and they went on a 6 castle summer, Disneyland castles. Um, so Disneyland, Disney World, Tokyo Disney, Disneyland Paris. Okay, wait. Disneyland, Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Tokyo Disney. That's 4. I think Hong Kong, and they were supposed to go to Shanghai, but all of a sudden, I think the thing was that the guy in charge decided that if you've got like your phone out and you're uh, streaming your streaming or recording what is going on, you could be a spy. And he's like, I don't want to spend time in jail. So I think they knocked that one off the list and went to Efteline in the Netherlands? Question mark? Pretty sure it's the Netherlands. Instead, or like that was on the list anyway, but like they spent time there, or like I said, maybe they went there instead. But yeah, they went to like everything but Shanghai. And he finally did get to go to Shanghai. Thought that was really cool. I wanted it to be the whole family, but I think it was just Chris from Park Pass. Because I really wanted to see their son's eyes light up when he saw the Pirates of the Caribbean. Because that looks like such a cool ride. I've never been on it in Shanghai Disney, but I thought it would be so cool when I saw the video from it. So I'm like, you have to go to Shanghai. But he didn't get to take their son with them, so I'm not saying his son's name, I do know it. But just in case, stranger danger and all that, and they may not want me saying what his name is, even though they do on the videos. Um, I think it's really weird though, because like some of the videos, he's like very prominent in that video, and then other videos, like he's there, but he's like not in the video at all. Like you see him once, and that's about it. But that's probably a form of stranger danger. Anyway, so please check out my books on Amazon. Um, I just said what all the .coms were. I mean, dot whatever. Um, but my books are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times. Later in the series, it will connect up eventually. Later in the series is Esperanza's Party and The Island. Because the first three books are when there's like, okay, so the first one, Pirate's Daughter, is how Morgan became to be the captain of the ship, and then Misfortune is how Hayden became captain's boyfriend on the ship, because that's the only title he has, but he gets upgraded to husband eventually. Um, and then Hard Times is how William got onto the ship. And then the book after that is called Finding Love. It hasn't been published yet. It hasn't been edited at all. I don't even think it's 300 pages. But that's going to be how the ship's navigator, Jake, got onto the ship. So we're going through all of the the ones with established stories. We're going through them first, and then we're going through I'm probably going to have more of a like several short stories kind of book where because everybody has their own story, but some stories are a lot shorter than others. Like Morgan's, she's got this long and involved thing. She used to live on the ship with her mother and her father, and Hayden and Jake were there when she was younger, and so was Michelle. I was gonna say Natalie, but that's her kid, their daughter. Then there's so like Morgan and Hayden and William and Jake have like an established story. Oh, what was it? I think Flynn said I don't do backstory. Well, they've all got a backstory. But then there's like Mitch. The only thing that we really know about Mitch is that he grew up in New York, moved to France, and his parents moved back to New York, and he stayed in France to go to college. But that's all we know. So I decided that maybe I also know that he was shopping for engine parts at the local, it was either the hardware store or the auto parts store. But anyway, you know, he was shopping, or he started to go into the store, and Rachel was coming out of the store and they kind of collided. And, he helped her pick up stuff, and a lasting relationship formed pretty quickly after that. So, so it's like I had to come up with a little bit more to it. I decided that they knew each other in high school. Not that, not necessarily that well, but, like they were, um, I don't want to necessarily say friends. But, she was the friend of the girl he was dating at the time. So the girl that he was dating at the time, um, she gets a little upset because he's always dressed as a military person for Halloween. He never dresses as anything else, and it's because his dad always dresses him up. So even though he's in high school, his dad's still making him dress as a military person instead of, like Dracula or a mechanic, or uh he'd probably dress as a mechanic because that's what he is. But like, he could dress as a stereotypical pirate, something. But instead of being able to dress up like any of that stuff, an astronaut even, um, he has to be dressed as a military person. Um, so anyway, the girl he's dating is like, why do you always have to dress like that? And Rachel's over there going, I think you look handsome, or whatever she said. Um, that was probably it though. Anyway, then Finding Love is, like I said, the story of how Jake got onto the ship. He's got an interesting story because, like I said, he grew up on the ship with Morgan until a certain age, and then he had to go, and his dad got cancer, and he's one of those guys that I'm not going to the doctor unless I'm dying, you know. So they didn't catch it in time, and he's definitely gonna pass away. They just don't know when. So they move off the ship to Australia. So uh, he's supposed to have a fighting chance that way, but it's not gonna work out. Spoiler alert there. It's not gonna work out. But he on his 16th birthday, he meets Michelle, and Michelle grew up on the ship too, remember? So he meets Michelle again, and they just go right back into being friends, and eventually uh they want it to be more than just friends. So, they start kissing and stuff. Well, they start kissing. Actually, Jake was gonna turn it into more than just kissing, and her dad stopped him because her dad is one of Katie Bell's crew, and he doesn't like the idea of a boy kissing his daughter. So he goes and literally handcuffs Jake to the wall and gives him a big ol' lecture. And that's kind of a scary thought because in my stories, the dingoes could come at any moment. Um, that actually comes from like they live out in the middle of Australia. I was looking on the map, it didn't look like it had anything in it, so I decided that's where Jane lives. Jane is Jake's mother, and they've lived with Morgan and her mother's crew so long that Morgan actually calls Jane mom, and she up to a certain point she was calling Katie mother because she got mad at Katie. Katie decided that she didn't want to be captain anymore and moved them to Ireland. And then, while they were in Ireland on Morgan's 7th birthday, her dad got kidnapped by the bad guys and killed. So she's mad at her mother because her mother didn't even lift a finger. She could have, but she didn't lift a finger to even try to help Daniel, that's Morgan's dad, out. And yeah, so she didn't do it to be malicious or anything, you know. And she didn't do it to be a bad guy. She was told that all three of them would die if she even lifted or would be killed uh, if she lifted a finger to help. So she didn't, but she was watching from behind a tree, and yeah. So Morgan wasn't. I mean, Katie wasn't too happy after that, and she really needed to move away from Ireland because Ireland had all those bad memories. So they moved to California, and she ended up getting remarried, and then something tragic happened to them too. So yeah, they they don't have the best life for a while there, but uh, it ends up okay in the end. After Ashley, I mean, not Ashley. After Morgan got kidnapped too. Ashley does get kidnapped at one point. Anyway, so my books are Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, Hard Times, Esperanza's Party, The Island, and Adopted Coral. Adopted Coral is, the series is Adopted, and then the book is Coral because we were talking about Coral. She was our uh, first cat that um, I'm not saying that she's the first cat that we ever got because Sweetie was the first one. Uh, sh- we called her Sweetie because she was a kitten. Yeah, she wasn't very sweet. She was a Miss Sassy Pants. But I think what she needed was a kitty cat friend or even a puppy. Anyway, she just needed another animal in the house, and we didn't have that. So then she moved into the. Um, we were in a townhouse at the time, so there was four of them. Two, the two facing the other two, and she moved. We were in number two, and she moved diagonally to the right, because it was two, and it was two was next to the street, and then one was the one in from that, and then across from that was three and four, I think. I don't remember. It was that long ago. We moved in 2006, so yeah, uh we got Sweetie Okay, our son was born, so probably about 2007. Uh, and she moved, like I said, she moved in with the people diagonally to the right from us. And I thought that was so weird because they had big dogs. Usually cats are like, ew, a dog? But, okay, I got myself lost in here. No, I'm just going down, down, down. I am lost. Okay, maybe I... No, that definitely would not be it. So maybe it was up there with the bats. How did... Now I'm confused. I need to stop doing this. You know, like, literally, I need to stop going down where I know that I... What? Okay, I'm just gonna go and hope that the house isn't underneath. Okay. Oh, so I was just in there somewhere. Okay, we're fine. Um, anyway, so there's a lot of books in the series. Um, but yeah, our Sweetie was our first cat, but Coral was our first cat that we, kept for a really long time. Cause my husband, we went down to my brother's graduation, and my husband left the door open, and the front door. Anybody could have gone in there and stolen our TV, we were in South Lake Tahoe at the time, so it probably wasn't going to be a thing, but anybody could have gone in there and stolen our computers, stolen our TV. But yeah, the only thing we lost was the cat. So but yeah, in 2011 we had moved down here to Carson City, Nevada, and and our friend at the time, he's not our friend anymore, he's just an acquaintance. Um yeah, we'll talk to him if he's in the room, but we're not gonna seek him out and say, "Hey, let's, go out to dinner together." Anyway, he had two kittens that he was supposed to be taking care of, fostering, and he didn't have time to give them their medicine, and neither had the two or three families before that. So he's like, "Hey, you want to take care of these kittens?" And I'm like, "Yeah." My husband didn't want to go there, but we did it. So I gave them their medicine, and I know Coral had upper respiratory when she was a baby. I don't know if Nancy had it, but they thought she was a boy when we first got them. They thought that Nancy was a boy, but it ended up that she's a girl. So we ended up having to change her name quick because her name was Lance. And I'm like, that doesn't work. So I ended up, I like Nancy Drew books, so I named her Nancy. It ended up working out. She liked it. But then, like 3 years later, she moved out to the bush across the street from where we were living on David Street. And I never understood why. She came home after my husband had, again, left the door open. We had a nice sliding glass door. So he went in and closed it a certain amount, and I was about to fall asleep before they even left. So Nancy, being the very smart cat that she was, slid the door open, and when she tried to come back at like 2 o'clock in the morning, the door was closed, so she just assumed that we didn't want her anymore, or that she got the wrong house, and moved in across the street where there was another orange cat. Anyway, um but Coral was our first cat that we got to keep for a long term. So I wrote her book, and as soon as I can get back over there, I need to take pictures of this one stairwell uh, at the David Street house, because that's where we got Ben. Ben was able to make kittens, and Coral and Nancy were not. So Coral didn't like him very much until more recently. He used to. I felt so bad because uh, after after Sam found us, I think we'd been feeding him for about 6 months, and so he's got a really big complex. Will there be food in the bowl next time I walk up to it? He's got a deep seated complex about that. But anyway, um, so after Sam found us and refused to leave, by the way, um, Ben would come up to me and have this really sad look on his face, like they're not playing with me. I know it seems weird for like cats to have an imagination or emotions or anything like that, but they really do. I've got 3 cats, and I want to say that I was not emotionally ready to have this uh the third cat that we have right now, Bobby. I was not emotionally ready. We had just last Coral in January, and we're the type of people that was our baby. You know, we've had her since 2011. She's our baby. It's not just a cat; it's our baby. You know. So anyway, you can call me crazy all you want. I don't care. I feel like I am the crazy cat lady. Literally, Sam will come up to me and start meowing, and I know that to check the food and water. I've actually somehow taught Sam how to say hi, hello. He's been known to say nuh-uh. Um, he says yeah. Okay, so literally, he actually said hi. I mean, he has said hi on the Xbox chat, and people didn't know that we had kids, right? So, you don't know how old the person you're playing with is. It could be like on Home Alone 5. It's 4 or 5. The one where the kids playing video games all the time, and they got kind of the I may be mixing up 2 episodes. I mean, 2 movies here. I think it's all the same one, where he's playing the video games a lot, and it ends up that the bad guys break into the house, and the Xbox friend happened to be an adult, but so somehow the mom thought that he had kidnapped her son. The kid that's, the Home Alone. Um, so she thought that he'd kidnapped him, but he's like, no, we were talking on the Xbox, or might have been PlayStation. Um, anyway, we were playing on that, and I happened, and I heard that this is what was going on. So anyway, eventually she does apologize, because she like pepper sprayed him or maced him or something. I think pepper spray is the one that you have to have like a special permit to get, and then mace is like, anybody can get it. I can't remember. I used to know that answer. But anyway, so it could be like that, or you are playing with an adult and you think you're playing with somebody who's your same age. Like you're 12, and you think that this person that you're talking to is your same age, but it doesn't always turn out that way. And sometimes it's a nice person like my husband who's totally willing to play with younger people, because he's trying to teach them how to play the game, if they don't know how, and play it in a nice way so everybody's happy when you're playing with that person. Unlike GTA, where you're probably going to end up in a session of random strangers that all want to kill you. Anyway, I said I was going to end this a while ago. Oh my goodness. Um, and I don't know why we got on that thing either. Yeah. I started talking, and then I changed the subject like 16 times, and yeah, I can't remember. Anyway, so I do need to get off here though, because I gotta edit that story. I'm hoping to get to page 100 today. I could do that, but I keep getting distracted, and like something will be on the TV, or something will be, or my husband was talking the last couple of days. I've been trying to do this for 2 days now, and I only got up to page 27. But yesterday it was because I kept playing this. So I am gonna get off soon. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell if you're watching me on YouTube. And please follow and chat if you are watching me on Twitch right now. I was very happy to find out that I've got like 465 people following me. I mean, as subscribe to me on YouTube. I think that's totally awesome. And Twitch says that I've got. Yeah, I don't understand that. So, okay, certain people, I'm not going to say their names, because I don't remember all of them, but certain people keep giving me a follow on Twitch. And I thought that, you have one account and you can follow one time, like on uh, YouTube. But apparently that is not the case, because people have followed me several times and I swear it's the same person. So I'm very confused, but very grateful. I got 97 people on Twitch. So, anyway, thank you to all of my viewers, no matter what you're watching me on. Um, yeah. So, okay, I guess we'll go to noon today. Usually I try to go just to 11, because, I have I have other things to do. Tomorrow, no, not tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, I'll have to do the litter boxes. Um, I will be very happy to, well, not very happy to do the litter boxes. That is a treasure hunt that you do not want to have to do. But if you pretend it's a treasure hunt, if you pretend it's a treasure hunt, it makes it a little more nice. Like whistle while you work, or or something else like that. Oh, or like on Mary Poppins, if you turn the job into a game, then it makes it better. It makes it feel better. You're still doing a job, but you're still doing a job like cleaning your room, but you make it into kind of a game and then it feels better. So with me, it's find all the stuff inside the litter box and put it in the garbage can where it belongs, and it makes it kind of makes it a fun game. I mean, I just try to get done with it as fast as humanly possible, and then go on to the other stuff that I have to do that day, like editing my book. I'm getting a little upset though because right now the audio version isn't the same one that I have for us. The audio version of Esperanza's Party is not right anymore because I've changed a few things. So then I'm gonna have to go in there and fix it, and I had to do that. I mean, I'm gonna have to do that anyway because, uh, yeah, 10 more minutes. Okay, promise, I'll turn it off. 10 more minutes. Um, anyway, for Esperanza's Party, I've changed a few things, and I had to go. I mean, I have to go in there anyway because I've got different voices for people, and I don't like them. I definitely don't like the voice that I have for Zach. He sounds like um I don't know if Cary Grant actually sounds like that, but in Sleepless in Seattle, they are talking about going on a date for the first time in a really long time because Sam's wife just passed away. Uh, well, it's like a year later, I think. Anyway, so she like pretty much just passed away, and he's talking to his friend who, like Sam's a architect or something. Yeah, architect. Anyway, he's an architect, and the friend works with him. So, uh, they're talking about how to go and ask a girl out on a date, you know, nowadays. And I think that was the early 90s. Um, he hasn't dated since Jimmy Carter 1968, I think he said. And so the other guy is saying mm, like, do it like Cary Grant. Just walk up and say, "Hello, Diane. Let's look at these swatches." Yeah. So, you know, the voice that he used for that, Zach's Zach kind of sounds like that, and it's like he's supposed to sound like a teenage guy from America. Okay, I don't know why, but in my head they all sound American. Yeah, no accents. They all sound like they're from California, probably. um, Northern California. somewhere between San Francisco and Sacramento, if any linguists are watching my stream. That's a person who studies languages. Um, anyway, somewhere in that area, because that's where I grew up. So, so they all sound like that to me, but I decided, you know, they need some accents because they live in Ireland, so that's going to influence their accent there. But then, like, individual families, Jake and Michelle are from Australia, so they all have Australian accents. And technically, Morgan is supposed to sound like she's Irish because she is Irish, and Hayden is supposed to sound like he's from Scotland. So he would have a Scottish accent. And the problem with that is that we don't have any Scottish accents on Speechlow right now. So he's ending up Welsh. I don't know what the difference is, but I am pretty sure there's a big one. But yeah, so it's stuff like that. And like French people should probably sound French, like Mitch and his family. Um or like Raphael, he's Italian. So I haven't developed his story very well. We've got, a snippet here and a snippet there, and snippet is a part of a story. So we have a snippet here and a snippet there where we're telling what happened to Raphael, but I'm probably going to come up with a story where we actually try to figure out, something happened at the beginning of the book and made Raphael realize he's been lying this whole time and doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. And, he's such a good liar that he didn't even notice that he's lying. Not on purpose necessarily, but, he's been lying. He's been saying this and it's really that, you know. So I want a scene in there where he's explaining to Pepper that he didn't do it on purpose, but, you know, that he remembers doing this at this point in their life, and Riley, his younger brother by 5 years, remembers it this way. So that's making him realize that he's such a good liar that he's not even sure what is, the real thing and what isn't the real thing. So they're determined to find out. And in one of the books, I need to make him get upset. Maybe it'll be that one where he's trying to figure out what has happened in his life so he can really tell her. Pepper's his wife. Although in the island, he's just dating her. Like they go on their very first date. He wants to show Pepper New York from a real New Yorker's point of view. Anyway. Oh, I just had it. I was going to say something. I don't remember what it was. Anyway. So, I am so sorry that this took an hour longer than I wanted it to, but I was only going to go until 11, and then all of a sudden it was 11:27 or something like that, and I'm like, well, might as well go to noon, and this is why my books never get edited as fast as I would like them to be. there's just some days when I feel like doing a uh, Minecraft day, but okay. So if I get one or both of these jobs, because I was thinking if I could figure it out, I would be willing to do 4 hours at the W store and 4 hours at the dollar store. And they're pretty close. I don't want to say pretty close together, but they are pretty close together. You know, it wouldn't take too long. I'd have to have like an hour or two in between just to make sure because, 1 hour for getting to the dollar store area and another hour for eating lunch in between. And, but the problem with that is that I don't have, uh, I wouldn't have the awesomeness of, the same pay all day. I would have a pay cut for the dollar store half of the day. And I thought minimum wage was more than that, and they're only paying $12.50 an hour. I thought our minimum wage was like 15, which I think is crazy. If they would just lower the cost of living, like make all the apartment rents $500, 600 at the most. Um, it, unless it's like a majorly luxury apartment, like on different strokes. If it's a luxury apartment like that, I see raising the rent to, like 1,000. But if it's just a one bedroom apartment, you probably shouldn't be paying more than $500. And people will pay it because they need a place to live, and the apartment owners have figured that out, and it's not okay. But you can't just like protest and not pay it because then you don't have a place to stay. They've got the mentality of if you don't want to pay our ridiculous prices, somebody else does. So a lot of places have done that. Like Coca-Cola knows that everybody will be buying their product either way, so they've gone from a 50-cent can of soda. Maybe it was 25. No, I think that was Shasta. That was 25. So, yeah, we'll say a 50-cent can of soda in the machine to charging you, what, $1.50? At least $1 for one can. Um, we had a great time for a while there though, because one of the machines outside the W store, the North W store, it had a soda machine, and instead of taking all of your quarters, it took 25 cents. And I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna complain about that. I'm not gonna complain about that at all. So, I would go over there and get vanilla Coke out of it all the time. Well, not all the time, but, when I had change. We don't have change very often now because, everything's on cards. And that's something I plan to do as soon as I get a out of the house job. Because, like I said, writing books is a lot harder than it sounds. And I mean, it's easy to me, but I'm saying, like, say a basketball player wants to write a book, The Joy of uh playing basketball and making it to the top or something like that. Um oh, it's 12:03. Okay, anyway. Um if they wanted to do that, they might think it's really, really hard. But to me, it feels easy. And there's times when it so does not. Because, like, you're trying to figure out the word that you meant to say, that you're meaning to say, and you just cannot figure it out. So then you turn to your husband, and he's playing his game, and he's like, "What?" He literally says it that way, too. Sometimes. Um, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to figure out this word, and this is what's going on in the story at the time, and a lot of the times he'll come up with a great word, and I'm like, oh, thank you, and then sometimes he'll just be like, because a lot of the times when I'm writing my book, it's like we're connected, like there's a cord between my brain and his, and we're connected, and we're on the same page and everything. But every once in a while, he gets disconnected, and it's like, what are you talking about? Because I'll be like, asking him uh, this word or that word, and he'll literally say purple. And he's not kidding. He actually means purple. And I'm like, okay, that's not even what we're thinking of, but like should I put pretended or feigned? And he'll say purple. No, I mean, that's not a real situation that has ever happened, but he'll come up with something that doesn't even mean the same thing. Okay, so I said I was going to finish this, and as soon as I go back the other way so I can get out of this hole, I will. Um, ooh, I hope that's okay. Neighbor just slammed their door. Neighbor slams their door a lot, so either their door's jacked up, messed up, or they are angry at each other. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, please check out my books on Amazon. They've got new covers. It's really cool. Pirate's Daughter has uh I think Pirate's Daughter has um a picture of a female pirate, and they're AI pictures. So I'm sorry about that, but that's the only art I could come up with that looked decent that wasn't Minecraft art. Everybody was offering me help when it was Minecraft art, but now that I've got that pirate ship on there, nobody's asking me. I think that was so cool. So anyway, um, um, Misfortune has Hayden about to cross the street. There's a limo in the intersection. So it's not exactly right, but it's close enough. It is a four-way intersection, and he's wearing a kilt, a blue kilt. I don't know what color he should be wearing, but he's wearing a blue kilt. And um, hard times. I've got a guy and a girl talking to each other, and they're standing next to the car as opposed to inside the car, which happened several times before I came up with that one. I don't know if I had to keep tweaking the words or if I just hit the refresh button 6,000 times, seemingly 6,000 times. But that's what I got for that one. And then Esperanza's party, pretty sure um I've got a guy and a girl. She's got auburn hair, and he's supposed to look Russian, but I swear he looks totally Californian to me. Um, but whatever. And they're on the dance floor, and you can see the beach behind them with the ocean, and it looks pretty cool. Um, and then for no, that might be for Esperanza's party actually. Yeah. That's for Esperanza's party. And then for the island, what did I have? Dude, okay. Yeah, I said dude. I'm sorry. My cousin taught it to me. Um, I think she was trying to teach me dude and rad and all those different words. Okay. Oh, the island. Okay, one of my favorite parts on the island um is that they are on the ship and they're juggling knives. So I'm pretty sure in that AI picture there's way too many uh looks like swords to me. But anyway, I'm pretty sure there's too many, but there's two guys and they're holding the swords and it's supposed to be knives. Um Daggers even. Anyway, but they're on the pirate ship and they're juggling that. So for Lessons in Love, when that does come out, we've got a girl on a black horse going somewhere. We don't know where, but a girl on a black horse, and you can't tell really what she looks like under her disguise. Um, Test and oh yeah, okay. Test and Love, the AI didn't get it quite right, but because it's supposed to be exactly on his lap, not off to the left, not off to the right. It's supposed to be right there in the middle. Uh, Ashley shot him with the paint gun right there in his lap. If you know why I emphasized it, then you'll understand, and then if you don't, that's okay too. But in the picture it's off to the side. But anyway, it's a room that kind of looks like a school lunchroom, with a bunch of tables on either side, and he's walking toward the camera with a little pink spot. And then an upcoming book is called Betrayal, where I've got a guy and a girl and they're kissing on a dance floor. And that's significant because that's what starts the whole problem in the first place. An old girlfriend of Hayden's comes back into his life. Not comes back into his life like they're dating, but comes back into his life while he's chaperoning the school dance with Morgan. So Morgan's like, super angry because um the YouTube video is playing a video that I probably watched 6 months ago. Anyway, uh, so he didn't want the kiss. She kissed him, But Morgan didn't see it that way because he kind of kissed her, because Hayden kind of kissed Stacy, the old girlfriend, back. So, yeah. But this is the scene just before Morgan walks in and gets angry. And then. Oh, and one of the images I came up with is for. Can't think of the name of the book. I will have to figure that out. Yeah, let's open in a new window for one. And for two. Yeah, so it's in Sweet Revenge or Heart Set. I think Sweet Revenge. Although it might be Solitary. Anyway, we'll say it's Sweet Revenge. So, Ashley is pregnant in that book with their first child, and well, with their second first child, because Sean's got a child with another woman from the book The Island, and that's all I'm going to tell you about that part. Anyway, his name's Jonah, and he's no, I'll just say his name's Jonah. Anyway, so they're in Sean's art class, and they're all trying to draw Ashley. Get off the desk, young lady. Get off the desk. Get off the desk. You get down like a lady. You hop down like a kitty cat. That made more sense because she's not a lady. Like I said, she's a Miss Sassy Pants. She's not one that, okay, she's not one of those cats that, you know, you pick her up and cuddle and she's happy about it, you know. Anyway, so they're all trying to draw Ashley. Of course, Sean, I've described him as his art is like he drew real life, you know, like as if he took a picture. And everybody in the class is jealous, especially this one kid, and I can't remember his name, so please don't ask. And she goes into labor, so she starts talking really, really sexily to him. And, you know, like she wants to kiss him. And he's like, she never talks like this in school. Wonder what's going on here. And then they realize, you know, she's having the baby. So he's got to get her home fast. And they're at the college, and the mansion's an hour away. Although I may fix that again and make it half an hour. Because a half an hour makes more sense. But they're supposed to be like kind of out in the country kind of thing. So an hour makes sense. You know, I'm just being very wishy-washy about that. If anybody wants to weigh in and give an opinion, please do so. I can always change it. So anyway, he does get her home on time, and you know. So he's worried about being in there with her, but you know, while she's giving birth, because when Hayden was there for Morgan, she broke his hand when Ashley was born. So Sean's like, Sean's worried that that's going to happen because they're supposed to go to prom soon, and he doesn't really want to do that without both hands to dance with her with, you know. So, so I think it's decided that she'll try not to do that, and she doesn't. Although one time when she was giving birth to a baby, uh, she broke both of their arms. Oh, maybe that was that one. When she had Ashley. I mean, when she had Daisy. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I really gotta stop this. It's 20 minutes over what I just said I was gonna do, and I'm, going here and I'm going there, and like I would go and edit the book while I'm doing this, but I get distracted and don't do as much in the book as I would like to. And then B, uh, I feel guilty when I have to stop and do something for the book when I'm streaming. So like I said, check out my books, please. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell, follow, chat. And, if you want to leave a comment, I answer every single one of them. Um, what? What? I'm sorry, I'm distracted now. What do you mean error? Oh, okay. Yeah, so the clouds the cloud that I have my stuff in apparently. Um um it has a weird name that the computer gave it. Thank you very much. So it should be allowed, but it's not. And I went and tried to change it and it wouldn't let me. Yeah, I've got one of those computers. I always get the best computers, the ones with all the issues. Yeah. Um, so anyway, I will see you in the next stream or video.